Are you
Yeah.
giving
we
me
need
one of
music.
these?
Yeah.
Are you giving me the old Wayne's World
Yeah.
3, 2? Wait, didn't somebody post a really dope, rad Heroes Reforged theme
Yeah.
song in our
Yes.
Discord? Maybe we should use
Yeah.
that.
I have
That should be
ideas
our-
for that.
that should
I
be
have
our theme
ideas
song.
for that. I might need to get it
okay.
retweaked a little bit for
Okay.
it to really work.
Uh-huh.
But
Okay.
yeah, I have ideas for
We
that
got it.
theme
We
song.
also we got to get Augustine on the drums if we're having any kind of like
Hell
play,
yeah, brother.
You know,
I'll
playing
record,
music.
I'll
We gotta
record some drums. You gotta tell me twice, brother.
He'll do a better
There you
job
go.
than we
Tell me
just did,
twice,
Hector.
Yeah, way better. Way better.
What is up, everyone?
better.
Welcome to another episode of the Chexicans podcast. Happy Tuesday. Special bat time. Special bat channel. Same bat channel. Different bat time.
Same bad channel.
This
Yeah.
is a little bit of like a, not so much a Comic-Con preview necessarily, but Comic-Con does technically start tomorrow with preview night. So we're trying to get ahead of this, do this episode a little bit early. Hector's going to be out of town for a couple days before he gets down to SDCC. I
Yes.
should be there in some capacity between now and the rest of the weekend. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to walking the floor, checking out what's going on. There's a few activations that we were invited to that I'm hoping to check out as well. So it's going to be an interesting
Sick.
con because like
Sick.
I didn't go last year, you guys went, and then
Yeah.
the year before I went and you guys didn't go. So we haven't
Yeah,
actually been to a
exactly.
Comic-Con together, I think since 2019, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be-
because before that it was COVID times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be orgasmic. If you see the three of us walking down the street, you better. First of all, you're
Say
gonna have an
hi.
orgasm. Secondly, you better pull us over and take a photo because it's gonna be
Yeah.
rare. It's gonna be really,
Yep.
really rare. So
Yeah.
it's gonna
Yep.
be dope. I'm already
Yeah,
making like
definitely.
I'm probably gonna be in Hall H all day Saturday, but Saturday night, I'm already making plans, boys. We're gonna party Saturday night. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna
okay.
puke. Yeah, I'm gonna puke on my shoes. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be
Oh
great.
my God.
Wow. Okay. All right.
The Pukinator returns. Oh boy.
Don't forget, we got a busy day on Sunday though of watching
I know,
Deadpool
I know,
Wolverine.
I know.
So
I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
absolutely.
I'm gonna be hungover.
Yeah, so that's kind of what the week is looking like for us. We're doing this episode a day early because there's other things happening. We're watching Deadpool and Wolverine on Sunday. I know that a lot of people have already seen the film. There's been a few screenings of it. Unfortunately, we didn't get invited to any of those, but that's neither here nor there.
Weird.
But
Yeah.
we are going to see it in IMAX 3D on Sunday together, so that will be a really fun experience. We're thinking of maybe doing an out of the theater reaction after the film that we'll post on Heroes Reforged. That'll be short and sweet. But then on Wednesday, we'll come back. We'll do another episode of the Chexicans podcast where we'll get into the meat and potatoes of the movie, because at that point, hopefully everyone will have had a chance to see it. And I think that'll be a really, really good time to dive in. I've only watched one review, non-spoiler review, from Dan Merle, who is very good at not talking about spoilers. He very much cares about preserving all of the surprises, so I super appreciate that. It was a good review. It not necessarily that it falls in line with where I'm thinking the movie might be, but some of the things that I've been concerned about just from us watching Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2, I'm kind of going to the movie hoping that the movie doesn't, maybe try to oversell or overhype, but Dan Merle said that he was so surprised that his jaw hit the floor, and I was like, okay. All right.
Okay. Interesting.
All right.
Oh,
That's
wow.
sick, dude.
Nothing
I'm
impresses
ready.
Dan. Nothing impresses that dude. That dude is a steel trap of movie loving man, and for
Yeah,
him to
yeah.
go, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Um,
So
was
I'm
impressed.
excited.
The only review that I've seen is from one of my favorite creators, Fantastic Frankie. I'm going to keep talking her up. But she said, basically, I cut it off short, but she was like, they let Ryan Reynolds do whatever the F he wanted to do. And I'm like, okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Sick.
I don't know if that's a
Sick.
good thing or a bad thing. Like,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Right.
We'll see what
Right.
happens. Yeah.
We
But
will
I think
see.
that was a good
Man.
perspective on it.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, at this point, that actor, he owns this character in a way
Yes.
that is it is difficult to think of another actor in this space in the comic book superhero roles that even comes close. Because if you say like Robert Downey Jr. owns the character of Iron Man, I'm like, yeah, but Robert Downey Jr. was not like a producer who had to fight to get the movie made, who had to, do you know what I mean? Like, and then was fighting a previous iteration of Tony Stark Iron Man that people hated and had to like pull back from that. And there's just so much about the first Deadpool movie especially, but even the second one that's like really risky, and it just shows how well Ryan Reynolds as an actor and as a writer, because he and his writing team would,
and as a
riff off of each other. And as a filmmaker, like he knows what he's doing, but how well his talents and sensibilities line up with a Deadpool that's successful, that audiences like. Because if you read Deadpool comics, it's, to me, and I love a lot of those comics, it's hit and miss whether they're going to land with the average reader. Do you know what I mean? But the Deadpool movie, that version of the character really takes what the comic book sort of establishes, but just with some of the best jokes, some jokes that don't land, but some of the best jokes, some heart, some great action, just a great costume. I'm just now repeating myself of all the stuff we've been talking about for the past few weeks, especially 2 weeks ago when we talked about Deadpool 1. If you haven't seen that episode, check it out on the Chexicans channel right now. But damn, dude, the guy is this is a victory lap for him. Like Deadpool 2 was kind of a victory lap for him because Fox let him and the team make it bigger budget, but even then, like all they had to really play with was, hey, they happen to be filming X-Men Apocalypse at the same time. You can have the X-Men in costume for one shot, as a joke. It's like, and I don't want a Deadpool movie to be full of all the X-Men characters, but like the Fox X-Men universe was already kind of dead by that point, by the time Deadpool 2 came out. You know what I'm saying? And this new one looks like it is you can do whatever you want, you can play with whatever you want, and you've got access to the Fox stuff, and we're gonna mess with that, but also you have the MCU. And I'm just like so happy that the first 2 Deadpool movies were so successful, and Ryan in that role was so successful that I'm sure that part 3 was already in development when Disney bought Fox and they merged. But the fact that Disney didn't go, yeah, we're done, we're not going to use you anymore, we're going to have our own version of Wade Wilson, we're going to have, we're going to do a new version of Deadpool that fit. No, because his version is as good as you can make it. There's no whereas when Marvel went to Sony or vice versa about let's share Spider-Man, Marvel didn't pick up Andrew Garfield. And I love Andrew Garfield's Spider, but they weren't like, cool, let's absorb the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 into our universe. They were like, let's do a new actor with a completely new, and that's rough, dude. And that didn't happen to Ryan. And now, not only that, his movies are so successful that they got Hugh Jackman to come back in the costume. Like it's such a testament to his success, to that success. So I'm excited to talk about this movie with you gents tonight. And I see that we have a poll here in the chat. One of you guys want to talk about that real quick?
I didn't put up Adam, did you put up the poll? I didn't.
Very simply put, are you seeing Deadpool and Wolverine opening weekend?
Ooh. Wow,
and that's a yes.
And the majority
and the big
saying
reason
yes.
I ask is because by next Wednesday when we have watched the film, it'll have been out for like 5 days. I'm calling it. Spoilers are going to be free reign at that point.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Right.
Listen.
So this is a good warning for our audience that you better come in prepared.
Yeah.
Because we got to tell you some shit.
If you can't make it this weekend, you got Monday, you got Tuesday. If you somehow are free during Wednesday during the day, go see that shit, and then you can come and check out our podcast. Thank you for that warning, Adam.
I'm glad town, baby. Spoiler town.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad you warned.
Oh yeah. If Batman shows up, we're gonna tell you.
Oh yeah.
That'd be wild.
Could he? Wow.
Maybe.
Man,
he maybe
if
could.
They got Ben Affleck Daredevil, Daredevil, and then
God,
then they got
right.
Ben Affleck Batman.
Somehow got Warner Brothers to be like, yeah, we'll lend you the suit, and Ben Affleck put it on again. He would never do that. That'd be so funny. That would be
hilarious. I don't know, man. I wouldn't put it past them. Yeah,
I think about this for the time being, but towards the end of the discussion, maybe we'll talk a little bit of our expectations for Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's pick one character that has existed in the Marvel films for the last 25 years that you would like to see in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Great.
Audience, you can let us know now, or you can let us know in a little bit, but we'll each give one character at the end of the episode, towards the end of the episode.
So this is starting from like X1? This is starting from like Blade?
Well,
Yeah,
Blade
dude.
is New Line Cinema, so does it really? I guess you could include Blade, right? Because it's still Marvel no matter what. So shit, you
Yeah,
could say
dude.
Dolph Lundgren from 1989. And I'd be like, sure, why not?
Punisher, yes.
yeah.
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 You could say you could say the Howard the Duck puppet. They're
Nicolas
somehow
Hammond from the 70s.
That's true.
they're somehow getting this puppet from Lucasfilm's
Yeah.
archives or something to just like have him walk around.
Yeah.
It wasn't a puppet. It was a little person. It was a little actor in a suit. But
Yeah.
you could even. They got the Disney money, dude. They can get.
No, they can do
in there.
anything. They're
Yeah,
unstoppable.
they can do whatever they want. Yeah.
Remember the Lego movie, which we talked about earlier today when we saw the Joker trailer. The Lego movie had a Lego Star Wars cameo, and that was from Disney in a Warner Brothers thing because it's too powerful to ignore. So, dude, like, sky's the limit on this. Sky's the limit on this. Okay.
Okay.
I want to read some super chats, and then let's get into talking about Deadpool
read
2.
some super chats so I can think about that.
Okay. First up, this is a first. This is a first ever. Ashley with Republic credits coming in with 125 Filipino pesos.
Beat out Senny.
Yeah, saying missing today's stream to watch Deadpool and Wolverine. So I'm gonna just drop this for the Animation Ghibli Reacts Fund. Let's effing
yeah.
go. Love y'all.
Heck yeah.
Thank you so much, Ashley.
Thank you,
and then
Ashley.
Senator coming in hot directly after that with $2. Psst. Check comics and physical media channels. Let's effing go. And then also in the chat, Senator said, "Hey, I'm supposed to be first. LMAO."
Whoops.
That's great.
You got beat.
Oopsie.
You done got beat.
It's all right. It's okay.
Senator
Watch, next
posted
week-
a.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say next week Senator's gonna be in 4 hours early. As soon as you have the
exactly.
show go live, boom, there you go.
Senator posted a photo of their I think it's their steelbook of Logan. So getting caught up.
Nice.
You know, getting caught up. The final.
That's an
installments,
expensive
final
one,
few
man. If you're trying to get that secondhand, that steelbook is like $80 to $90 on eBay minimum.
Oh, wow.
I've been trying to look for that black and white version. It's pricey, bros. It's pricey.
It's pricey.
So
Pricey.
yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to go for the just standard 4K, $20. It's fine. It's fine.
Brand
I
the
don't
Builder.
need steelbooks.
Brand the Builder's coming in with $10, saying just showing some love for the homies trademark. Thanks for being one of the bright spots on the internet for us positive nerds. Thank you so much, Brand.
Heck
We really
yeah,
appreciate
Brand.
it.
Thank you.
Tony
Hey, Brand, what do you
Dominguez,
build?
$4.99.
What do you build, Brand?
Yeah, Brand. What do you build?
And can you
Friendships.
fix it?
Yeah, can you fix it?
Friendships. Tony Dominguez coming in with $5 with San Diego Comic-Con this weekend. Where do you think they'll announce the casting? Do you think they'll announce the casting of Doctor Doom? And who do you think would be perfect for the role to
interesting.
rival Daddy Pedro? LOL. That's a good question. I'm going to say no to Doctor Doom announcement.
Yeah,
because
I don't think that's likely.
because I think that before we even get Doctor Doom, I think this first movie is going to focus on the four. And I think that they're going to try to win over audiences, and there might be a tease, but it'll be like a Tommy from Power Rangers where it's like an empty desk or something.
Yeah.
Like it's not cast yet.
Yeah.
And then they'll move into that. It is what I think. I know everybody is speculating that Doctor Doom's going to be in Avengers Secret Wars because you can't do Secret Wars without Doom. I don't know if they're going to do that because he's just like too big for them to kind of sandwich him in there. Do you know what I mean? Squeeze him in there. But I don't know. I think maybe I'm expecting Fantastic Four to get like merged into the mainstream Sacred Timeline before we see a Doctor Doom, and then Latveria is going to make moves. You know, I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, I think that it's likely that they can announce that Doctor Doom is coming. I don't think it'll be a casting thing yet because I agree.
Yeah,
I think if you're trying to put him, I think the starting point for Doctor Doom in an Avengers film, I don't know if that's the right move, but I do think that a lot of people are curious as to what is taking over in place of King the Conqueror. And I think if you're going to replace Kang with someone, you probably don't have to do this, but I would imagine that if they're going to announce anyone, it's going to be like a Magneto, a Doctor Doom. It's going to be some kind of big villain character to take on the Avengers in the next two. But also, it does really also depend, like how are we then going to build up to it? Are they maybe going to add more movies before Avengers 5 and 6 to build that character up so it is it does feel like a formidable threat when we get to those
Right.
films. I think that panel is going to be really interesting on Saturday, because I think we're going to see big shifts in the schedule and movies being added prior to Avengers lead up movies.
Oh, I'll be there. I'll effing
I don't
be
think we're
there.
going to get an announcement per se at a convention or something about when Doom's going to get there. I have a feeling they might go the Thanos route and just kind of tease him little by little
Maybe.
in different projects of like, oh, that could lead to Doom. And then they have two ways of doing it, right? Either origin story or full-blown powered-up Doom comes out of nowhere, blows everybody out of the water.
Right.
So
Let me,
who knows? I don't know how.
Let me pitch something to you boys right now. Let me pitch something to you guys. You're sitting in Hall H. We're sitting next to each other. We're in Hall H Saturday night. This panel is happening. Holding hands. We're blowing each other kisses. Mwah. So happy. Mwah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the lights go down, and then like a piece of footage comes up that they sort of shot in secret, where technically they haven't started filming Fantastic Four, but this is something else, right? And it's just like a throne, and we close in, and it's like a metal gauntlet, and then it just cuts out, and it's like Doom is coming,
And then it
like
says
that
Rhaenyra.
kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. I could see something like that happening because Marvel likes to do big shit like that. And I think, Adam, you were also referring to like the news of the past week or so, doing promotion for this new film, Kevin Feige talking about their plans for San Diego Comic-Con, and him sort of hinting that like, oh, we look at Comic-Con as a great place to sort of bring everybody up to speed and let us know what our plans are. And people are speculating, they're going to have a new timeline and a new sort of release imagery where they just say a movie title, everybody freaks out, and they say a movie title, everybody freaks out, because things have changed, and because Jonathan Majors was fired, and so they're not going to pursue Kang, or maybe they will recast Kang. I don't know, but I think that they're going to want to have big positive publicity, leading into coming off of the fact that this movie's coming out this weekend, Deadpool and Wolverine, and so far seems to be a big hit. They want that positive publicity, and they want to go into next year with people excited about Captain America, excited about, things like Ironheart, Thunderbolts. Exactly. Maybe they'll announce the title for the 4th Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, like all to kind of build up that Phase 5 and 6 hype, because the 2 Avengers movies are supposed to close out Phase 6. So there's a long runway to that, but I could see them pulling some stuff like that, and it's just going to be very, very exciting. All right, let me read some other super chats real quick, then we'll talk Deadpool 2. Pirate Dad, $5. Thanks, Pirate Dad. Let's not undersell the fact that Hugh Jackman has been playing Logan since X-Men 1, which released in theaters in 2000. That's 24 years.
That's crazy.
Good for him. Untouchable.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
that's a run.
It's amazing.
That's a run.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I wasn't sent this. I forget. Maybe it was in our Discord, or maybe I saw it on Twitter. But it was posted. There was a tweet, or there was a Facebook post made by one of the guys who was basically running camera for behind the scenes material for X-Men 1. And he talked about how he was basically in the same room when Hugh Jackman was officially offered the role of Wolverine, because originally it was DeGray Scott who'd been cast in the role, and he was like on the up and up. His career was about to blow up, and then he gets cast in Mission Impossible to play the villain. So he's off shooting Mission Impossible somewhere, I forget where it was, and he gets injured, and nobody knew that. Nobody had communicated that with Fox. Nobody had communicated that with the creative team. So the costume designer went there to the set of Mission Impossible to try to do a costume fitting, and then came back and reported back to like the whole creative team.
He's injured.
We're in deep shit. We don't have a Wolverine. He's injured. It's going to push our movie back. So they did their best to try to push the movie back, and push back the shooting schedule. And then eventually the producer, Lauren Schuler Donner, said, well, let's start going through the auditions again. And then like Hugh Jackman, I think they said, was like the 40th guy. And she was like, there's something here. This guy, Oklahoma, he can dance, he can sing. Let's bring him back in. He blew this first screen test, and then was like, Kevin Feige ended up taking him to dinner in Toronto because they'd already been shooting X-Men, and basically was like, hey, like, you never know, things could always turn around. They brought him back. He did a screen test with Anna Paquin and I think Famke Jensen, who was doing Jean Grey at the time.
Yes.
And apparently he like knocked it out of the water. Like it still wasn't perfect. He was still nervous, but I guess the director had been like sitting in a corner watching the screen test, and some security guard came by and was like, "Oh, is this auditions? Is this guy playing your Wolverine?" Yeah, like we're not totally sure, but like, what do you think? He's like, "I think he looks fucking cool." And apparently like that kind of sold the director and the creative team to cast him as Wolverine. And he was like, you know what, let's make it work. Let's make him a movie star, and the rest is kind of history. So I was like, damn, that's such, I can't even imagine that feeling, that energy in the room to find Wolverine, but then to also see Hugh Jackman's reaction to all that, being like, I don't know, he must have been like 30, 35 at the time. It's insane.
Oh my God, he's a baby.
Yeah, 30.
He was a baby.
30, I know.
Hugh Jackman needs to track down that security guard who said that he looked fucking cool, and like literally write him a check for $1 million, because it's like you would
just
not
a
have
blank check, literally
just
a blank
Here
check.
you go,
Yeah.
6 zeros. There you go.
Yeah, whatever you
That's
want.
wild.
Yeah.
David G is coming in with a $10 super chat. Says this super chat is for Adam for alerting us about Star Trek 4 movie collection on sale at Amazon. Just ordered. Love you guys.
You're so welcome.
Thank you very much, David G.
You know it, man. You know it. By the way, let's derail the chat a little bit. Did you guys score big time on the Amazon Prime Day Blu-ray sales?
Oh yeah.
Was there any big haul that you made? Hector, you didn't? Nothing?
I didn't even check, bro. I didn't even check.
Oh my God.
Bro.
Oh my God. Adam, what did you get? What was your favorite pull?
So they're still on the way. They should be here today at some point. I did the most delayed shipping because I was like, I don't care, I'll wait. Give it to me whenever.
Yeah.
I did get Superman and Lois season 3. That did arrive a few days back.
Nice.
I got the Mask of Zorro 4K Steelbook. I did get The Thing from Another World, the Howard Hawks production from 1951 that inspired John Carpenter's The Thing. I got the Alfred Hitchcock Collections Volume 2 and 3, John Wick Chapter 4, The Black Phone, and I got the Daniel Craig James Bond collection.
Dang, you scored big time.
I went
big time,
well,
Broseph.
it was a really good deal because they were collections of movies, and they were like $35. So you do the math. You break down 5 movies for $35. You're paying like between $7 and $10 per movie. It's a really good deal. Yeah.
It's a really good deal.
That's for the what deal was that? The Universal Monsters.
That was Blu-ray for the Alfred Hitchcock collection, both volumes.
Yeah, for sure. For
the James Bond collection with Daniel Craig.
Yep. I love those. I love that stuff, man.
Yeah. That was a good collection. I didn't buy that one.
I've been kind of looking at my whole collection and figuring out like what am I keeping, what am I maybe getting rid of, because I'm kind of coming up to the finite amount of space.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
That's how it goes. It's like I've collected it all. I like all of my sort of
all, Hector. You are the Pokemon training master.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
There's not too many that I'm missing. But I'll give you an example though. There's one that I'm actually now looking for because I kind of changed my collecting plan. Years ago, my only Planet of the Apes, of the original Planet of the Apes movies that I wanted was like the first one from 1968. So I got that on Blu-ray. Nice little slip cover. It looks really great. Planet of the Apes. And then with this new one that just came out, I'm like looking at everything again and I'm like, you know what? They made a pack of the original 5 movies from the 60s and 70s that all fit in one. Again, it's all about the space now. And I was like, oh, I'd get that. And I looked it up and I'm like, oh, it's out of print. It's out of print. So now I'm like on the hunt for if I see it anywhere or if I find it for like a pretty good used deal, the original 5 Planet of the Apes movies in like a slim 1-case Blu-ray. Not the necessarily the huge, they did like a box set, 40th anniversary box set. I don't want that. I just for the space wise, I'm like, oh, I'll take the these right here. Like I didn't love Kung Fu Panda 4. I went to go see it and I thought it was just okay. But
it's okay.
They came out with a Blu-ray set that has all 4 of them in one. In what would the space would be for one. So I was like, oh, I would get that. That's fine. Because it's like, I'm going to own a Kung Fu Panda set anyway. Might as well have all 4 of them in there. So that's kind of what my collection is. The equilibrium of my collection. I look at stuff and I go, what do I have space for? Ooh, I can change, upgrade. And it kind of stays space-wise.
You're at stasis right now then. You're at stasis.
Stasis
for sure.
That's kind of
absolute stasis.
And I do the same thing though. Like there's also movies that I'll upgrade from Blu-ray to 4K because Let's say it's
Right.
it's a reprint or a newer release, so it has, let's say, Dolby Vision and Atmos. So I'm like, okay, cool. I can swap it out for another one. Like, for example, I literally just got this in the mail, I don't know, 3 days ago. The Rocky movies.
Oh,
the Knockout
nice. That's a good collection.
But this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
this
yeah.
is
all
the first
six?
all six. This is all six.
Right.
And they released a collection maybe 2 years ago that only had the first 4. So
Right.
I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna keep this one and get rid of the other 2 that I have, because I kept the Blu-ray one because the Blu-ray one had all 6. So now I can get rid of 2
Exactly.
sets, and I'll replace
Exactly.
Nice.
And
Excellent.
you can take them.
Excellent.
You can take them to Amoeba Records. You get a little store
Yeah.
credit. You get a little cash. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
You can
yeah.
take it
Absolutely.
to
Yeah,
Atomic Records.
They got
like,
a good used selection too over there.
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good
yes, they
selection
do.
at Amoeba.
Yes,
And-
I've gotten
Yeah.
a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, and one thing that I'm kind of in the slow process of doing, because we all know pulling movies for Plex takes a long time. But
Yes.
at a certain point, there will be movies in my collection that I'm like, you know what? I ripped the Blu-ray. I got all the special features. I got the commentaries. I
Yes.
got everything I need. I can part ways
Yes.
with the physical disc.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's great about Plex, man. I love it.
Yeah, play them high quality movies, baby. They're real good. They're real good.
Nice, nice, nice.
All right, guys,
Augustine,
let's
we
talk
gotta
about
get you on the
Deadpool
Plex,
2. Let's
damn
talk about Deadpool 2.
Look, guys. You guys barely got me on the physical media collection. Plex is
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna borrow your guys' Plexes, basically. That's really
Just
what
the login.
I
That's
bought
all
a
you
3D
need.
TV. Yeah,
That's all you
just,
need.
I just gotta
Yeah.
log in.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then I
Yep.
can add to y'all's physical media collection with my collection. You just borrow my discs. I know Hector doesn't have
Yep.
what's it called?
Yep.
Kung Pao Enter the Fist. So you
Correct.
just add that one to your collection. I'll keep the disc. I'm good to go.
There you
I'm
go,
good
baby.
to go.
Done.
There you go.
Yeah,
Love
so it works. We'll all make the best Plex that has ever created, has ever been created.
the
so
mega
we'll work together.
Ultraplex.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, y'all. So for tonight, the conversation around Deadpool 2, the 2018 sequel, is thus. First question is, what does this movie do better than the original Deadpool? And the second part of that question is, what does the movie do not as good as the original Deadpool? Who wants to start? Let's kick it off. Let's get into it. I have a feeling we might have some overlapping answers because we don't know what each other's answers are going to be.
Yeah, I think we might.
Yeah.
I think we might.
I think we might.
I started
but
last
who-
week. Who wants to go this week?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I think I can start. I think I can start this week. And for mine, it's not too deep. It's not too deep at all.
Yeah.
But I do like that they gave. My favorite thing that I think was much better was that they gave Colossus a lot more time. As silly and as goofy as it is, as kind of like non-Colossus as I feel he is from the comic book version, I do like that they have that kind of moral compass still there. That he has a lot more screen time, that he has a fight scene, that he goes up against a powerhouse like Juggernaut. I thought that was really
dope.
cool, and that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted from the Colossus in the first one. Like, I love that he was kind of like the dad in the first one, didn't really do much, but had a lot of emotional impact. But in this one, the emotional impact was reduced a little bit. But I do like the big fight scene. I thought that was really rad to see Colossus really kick ass. And I hope
great.
that somebody takes a look at that footage or what they did with Colossus and kind of builds off of it as to the future of Colossus in the MCU, because I he's got to have a future in the MCU somehow,
Yes.
some way,
Yes.
in some form
Yes.
or another. And they're just like, okay, this is a pretty fun take on Colossus, because he can be kind of like a boring character sometimes, or he's just like, he wants to be alone, doesn't necessarily want to fight, but comes in and fights when he needs to fight. And to have him be like a standout father figure, moral compass kind of guy, I think that's a great way to bring him about.
Alex is asking in the chat. We just watched the theatrical version, which is what's on Disney Plus for Deadpool 2, so that if you wanted to watch along, you could watch the theatrical version, and then we have our reaction on Patreon. Real quick, Augustine, I think that the thing that is going to be
You almost threw
is
up
going
when
to
you
sort
said
of
his
create the
name. Are you
perfect
okay?
Colossus. Sorry, man. No, I just burped a little bit of Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar Cream and Soda.
Augustine,
Just real quick. And also, I ask again, I think we might be okay because it might just be in our program that I'm seeing. But are we getting dropped at all, or stuttering, or choppy? Everything's good on your end, Adam?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Is it delayed for you again?
Yes, I think.
Sick.
Okay, okay.
It's fine. It's fine. I think Colossus is going to be in the MCU going forward, maybe 5, maybe 10 years from now. Because I feel like Colossus needs to come
It's
in
not
as
gonna
the
be
sort
anytime
of
soon.
second generation of X-Men characters, where he sort of comes in the giant size team. I think that Colossus should look very close to what he looks like in the Deadpool movies. He should sound very close to that with that great Russian accent. But I think the thing that's missing from the Deadpool movies, he is treated like a little bit of a joke, and that's fine. But because he's sort of a goody two shoes, the way like Clark Kent Superman is a goody two shoes. But I think that the thing that's missing is when we get a full on Colossus in the MCU, they're going to go into his Russian backstory, where he came from, his relationship with his sister. That's the heart of Colossus. Like everything you said, where like he's on this team, but he doesn't necessarily want to fight. He just kind of has this life where he came from, where he was a farmer. All that stuff is going to be explored and going to make him really more of a fan favorite with a lot of heart. Whereas this one, it's really fun in Deadpool 2, where he's like, number 1 rule, no killing, no matter how bad guy is. Number 2, label everything in fridge. And you're like, okay, ha ha ha, this is an unserious character.
That's great.
Yeah. My thing, and then we'll kick it over to Adam, where I think Deadpool 2 does better than the first one. It's kind of yours, Augustine, where I'm like, I think that the larger world of the X-Men feels better. I like that Deadpool was hanging out in the mansion for a little bit. I did like that one joke about seeing the X-Men in the other room, but more so than that, Colossus, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and Negasonic having a girlfriend, and just them going out on a mission, and they gave Deadpool that little X-Men trainee shirt, which is a joke, but I'm like, it feels like there's more of a lived-in like X-Men team at the mansion versus just a green screen, which is what it was. I mean, it's kind of that in this one too, but just that aspect of the movie. And then when they go to the icebox prison and there's like more mutant characters, and it just feels like, oh, okay, this is more of a world that feels a little bit more connected to the sort of previous Fox X-Men universe, and a little bit bigger in that sense. And I appreciated that, especially just the addition of Yukio. And then even though it's only for a joke, the addition of the X-Force team, like all those characters, I'm like, this is great. Like, we get Domino, who's awesome, and we get Shatterstar and Vanisher and all this. It just makes it feel bigger, and they're still able to do their jokes. You can still have Human Peter, Rob Delaney, so funny. I'm so excited that he's in the new movie. I can't wait. So that I think was kind of an upgrade. Adam, tell us what you think sequel does better.
Wait, real quick. Before we move on to that one, I'm gonna go off of your thing, Hector, and say that I thought it was really funny that the X-Men joke to have them in a room and close the door quietly. To me, I'm thinking about it again. I'm like, did they tell Colossus to get Deadpool out of the way? Did they tell him, hey, you handle him, we're not gonna handle this dickhead, and they just close the door?
100%.
They're like, shh, we're
100%.
not here. Don't
100%.
let him know we're here. Close the door.
So funny.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be so funny to hear that conversation.
It's a meta joke that we know only happened because they were filming an X-Men movie and they were able to use these actors in costume for one shot in between their shooting of the movie. But just like you said, Augustine, if you really think about it, there's like an in-story reason that could make perfect sense. Colossus, Negasonic,
absolutely.
You guys deal with this idiot. Wait, that's great. That's great.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, Adam, it's your turn. What did you think it did better?
So I think the thing that Deadpool 2 does do better, first of all, I think the stunt work is incredible. I think that the stunt work in the first movie was also really, really good. I do feel like there are definitely moments where the CG takes over the stunts, and I think that is obviously because Tim Miller runs Blur Studios. He's the director. They have a shorthand there that is kind of unbeatable. Of course, we're going to do a transition from live action to CG because it just works and we know how to do that. When you have someone like David Leitch, who is coming off of the success of John Wick, you're going to have a lot more practical stunts. Of course, there is CG throughout it, but I think they took a lot more risks with some of the practical fighting. The choreography for a lot of the fights is truly amazing for a lot of the time, and so I think that really works for me. I also feel like the humor, while there is a much greater amount of it, I think that some of it lasts and kind of stands the test of time a little bit better than the stuff from Deadpool 1. The Deadpool 1 stuff kind of feels like it's stuck in the mid-2000s. The stuff in Deadpool 2, because it also is referencing things that were happening, like big things like the DCEU, while that is very much a jab at DCU in 2016, we in 10 years can still laugh at that joke because we're comic book and superhero movie fans, and it's always going to be a part of our history. So we'll always kind of understand that lore, and so will new sort of up and coming fans of Deadpool. So I think that really works to its advantage, more so in the second film than the first film, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you're right. I think you're right, Adam.
Let me do some quick super chats, guys. Thank you so much for this.
Do the super chats. Then I have a question for you guys, by the way.
Sure.
Okay, great. Greg McCoy coming in with $20. Greg, thank you
Greg.
so much. Greg says,
$.
I can't wait for Deadpool and Wolverine. Seeing it Friday with the wife. Wish I could go to Comic-Con this weekend, but I can't make it. Are you planning any kind of meetup for the homies? Listen, man, we're going to meet up at a bar. You know what I'm saying? So follow us on the internet. Follow us on Instagram. We may post that we're at a bar in San Diego. Then roll up, and then we'll buy each other some drinks and we'll have a good time.
Beers?
But
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Nothing official at this point. Nothing official at this point. But yeah,
our meetup's going to be at 2:30 a.m. I'm going to be puking into the pier. I'm going to be puking into the San Diego harbor. And I need you to come up and rub my back. Okay? Hey, Hector. Hi.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen. I'm kidding.
Mom, I need a little menudo or some huevos con weenies.
Mom.
I need menudo.
Greg, I think you were the wonderful person who sent us some stuff, and I just wanted to make sure it's in Augustine's hands, and he's got it. We're going through it. I just want to make sure that we're divvying it up to where we need to go. This goes for anybody who's sent us stuff. Like,
send
we
us
got
a
some
message
really cool Blu-rays,
and let us let us know who everything was supposed to go to.
So some recent stuff was labeled like, this is for Adam, this is for Augustine, this is for Hector. That's very, very helpful if we are to divvy things up. Anyway, thank you. Greg came in with another $20. Greg McCoy. Well then, here's a round of beers for the boy. Well, depending on the bar, but enjoy, and can't wait for the wrap-up video from you guys on all the announcements. Awesome. Greg, thank you so much. Yeah, should this just become the San Diego Comic-Con beer fund show? Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're fundraising
Hector
for right
get drunk
now?
fund?
Yeah. We're taking
the Hector
funds.
Get Drunk fund is what it is.
Oh my God.
It's the huevos con weenies fund for Sunday morning.
Yes. One more from our friend here. Death to the Algorithm, $10 super chat. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Death to the Algorithm, do that already. They said, I think the thing that happens is we have expectations for a sequel. Once you've seen a magic trick once, it's harder to impress with the same trick. This happened with Netflix Marvel for me. Totally agree, 100%.
Oh, wow.
And I
Interesting.
think that's not one of the worst things about Deadpool 2, but there is something there where you're like, I've seen this character, you know what I mean? I've seen the sort of humor already. And I think for that same reason, that's why there is so much happening in Deadpool 2. We have Cable and Domino and X-Force, and Deadpool loses Vanessa, and Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and the Juggernaut, and the kid, Russell, who he's trying to, like, there's so much happening, I think, because they were trying to avoid that. And I don't think that I don't love Deadpool 2 as much as the first one because of that fully, but there is probably a little piece of that in there. Augustine, what was your question that you wanted to ask us?
Silly question, but which one did you guys prefer? Baby hands or baby legs?
Honestly, truthfully, baby legs.
Yeah.
Me
Really?
too. I like the baby legs better.
Wow.
You like baby hands,
I'm
Hector?
disgusting. I don't know.
I think I like baby hands more only because baby legs was good, and we saw a little tiny piece of Deadpool's penis for like a frame, like a little
That
tiny
wasn't why I
piece,
liked it, Hector.
Yeah.
which was great. Oh, hey, we all enjoy a little, but I just remember the detail of how translucent they made his hand when it was growing back. That like the CG artist made it more
Yeah.
translucent when he's touching Blind Al. So like
Yeah.
that kills me, dude. That still
Yeah.
kills me like every time. I think it's so good. They're both great though. They're both great.
They are both great.
Augustine, over to you.
Yeah, I think
Augustine,
Adam,
over to you.
you need to put that in the chat. Put that poll in the chat. See what people
Yeah.
prefer.
Yeah, good
Baby
idea.
hands
Do
or baby
that.
legs. For
baby
sure.
baby hand or baby legs?
Yeah, baby hand or baby legs. Okay, so we're moving on to the thing that we think didn't work with this movie now.
Yes, as well as the first. As well as the first.
Yeah, as well as the first one. So I can't say that the things that didn't work matched up between 1 and 2. So I'm gonna keep the things that I didn't like about 2 that kept me from enjoying 2 as much as 1. And I think I hate to say it, but I hate I hate to think that it's the fact that they had a bigger budget that made the movie maybe a little bit too ambitious and therefore not have as solid of a direction as the first one did. Because with a limited budget, you really have to stretch every single dollar. And I like I said, I don't want this to be true. I don't know if it's true, but it feels like because they're giving them so much free reign that it kind of got away from them at the end. And yet the world building was better. I would say some of the character development was better, but it goes back to that magic sauce that we keep talking about. That like there's just something in the sauce that maybe when you add too much money to the formula, it kind of changes things. But that's not even always the case. Like it could just be different producers on board, or even like the director's vision. We don't know. We don't know exactly what it is. It's lightning in a bottle. I don't think the second one caught it as well, or even caught it like the first one did. But I'm gonna chalk it up to money, because I don't want to blame any of the creative people on this at all. But overall, I think that's my biggest
It's funny,
gripe.
dude. I almost said the same thing. I'm going to have a different one for my answer, but I want to mention again that, like, if you listen to the commentary for the first Deadpool, Ryan talks about how he and the writers had a version of the script that had like 3 different bad guys from the comics, these sort of bad guy characters, and then they got kind of merged into one, and Ajax and Angel Dust. But they had more characters in the beginning, and part of the reason they merged is because they're like budgetary. We don't have the time in this movie to spend on those characters, but we're going to have to hire them and do effects, and some of them are cyborgs and all this other stuff. And so I think there is an element to Deadpool 2 where it's like, on paper, I don't know what I would have cut or changed, because my instinct is to go, I would have left Cable and Domino, and I would have maybe cut out the Russell stuff or changed it, but that's also kind of the heart of the movie. So if you change that, I don't know what the heart, whereas the first one, it's him and Vanessa. And with this one, it's Vanessa dies, and then they were going to make a family. They're going to have kids, right? And then Russell becomes that connection for Wade. And on paper, I'm like, I get that. I think I would have chased the same thing. But when you have all these characters in there, I don't know. That's going to be my answer. Is the thing I think that doesn't do as well as the first one, and it's not just me. Ryan Reynolds has talked about this before. Is that they fridged Vanessa and they killed her off. And it was kind of shocking and funny in the opening credits acknowledge it.
Horrible decision.
I don't want to say it's horrible, because it's not like they killed her permanently. Like, he goes to save her in the end credits, right? So it's all cool. Like, she's in the new movie, and we'll see what happens there. But the thing is for them to sidestep her as like the only way they could find the sort of emotional core for Wade, I think that may have been a mistake. And what's really funny is if you guys have ever seen Once Upon a Deadpool, where they just recut the movie as PG-13, and they have Wade kidnap actor Fred Savage, and they're just like making fun of each other. Like those segments are worth watching the movie. It's like worth watching that movie for those. And Fred Savage, he goes, "You fridged her," and then Deadpool's like, "What? I don't know what that is. What?" And he goes, "It's a comic book trope where you remove the female character just to further the male character's motivation and plot." And Deadpool goes, "Oh, like Mufasa from The Lion King." And Fred Savage is like, "Yeah, like Mufasa from The Lion King." Like, it's so funny. So even that movie, which came out the same year and a couple months later, acknowledges that misstep. And then so when you look at Deadpool 2, could there have been as much of an emotional storyline and element if Vanessa was still in the picture, if she was part of the crew, if she was, I think the answer is yes, but I just don't know what it would have been. I don't know what it would have been. I don't know if that means you don't do Russell. I think that Cable losing his family is important, and I don't know how you do that without Russell, because future Russell is the one who kills Cable's family. And also, in Once Upon a Time in Deadpool, as soon as Cable comes into the picture, Fred Savage is like, "You got Cable? You got Cable?" And Deadpool's like, "What do you know Cable?" And he goes, "Yeah, the child of Scott Summers and Madeline Pryor, the clone of Jean Grey, who gets sent to the future and gets infected with a techno-organic virus and then comes back." And he goes, "I hope that you have given this character the nuanced approach that he deserves." And and Deadpool is just like, no. It was so funny because I'm like, oh,
not in the
he's
slightest.
just describing X-Men 97. He's literally describing X-Men 97 and how great it is.
Yeah.
And I really like Josh Brolin Deadpool and Cable in Deadpool 2, but he is a very different, we're missing a lot of the elements. So I don't know what I would have done, but my answer is going to be basically how they handled Vanessa is nowhere near as good as who that character was in the first film, to the point where they deleted the character. And so maybe it's what you're saying, Augustine. If they had less of a budget for them to go, yeah, we could do a full CG Juggernaut. You know what? Maybe you can't. Focus in. Is Vanessa still in the movie?
Maybe you shouldn't. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know. Adam, what is your... Actually, real quick, let me do one more super chat. Jason Bomback coming back with another $5. Jason says, "Oops, didn't realize I was logged into the Death to Algorithm channel. Sorry, LOL. My worry with Deadpool and Wolverine is because of over-reporting. I fear I know too much. Listen, after tonight, I'm off the internet, baby. I'm off the internet till Sunday. I'm scared. And I'm trying not to look at... Me
too. I literally just got a text message from Ryan Unicombe that says, "Adam, stay off the damn internet. For real. This is big."
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. Well, then there you go, guys. Read some books.
And get on the internet.
Yo, did you complete the poll, Adam?
Yeah.
Poll.
I know.
The poll is completed.
We're gonna have to figure out some kind of tiebreaker here. What are we gonna do?
I think there needs to be a tiebreaker.
That is amazing. Wow.
Yeah, that's really funny.
So I think that the thing that I think does not work for me in Deadpool 2, or is not as strong as it is in Deadpool 1, it's kind of a mishmash and a mix of both of your guys' stuff. The scope and scale, and I think the story. I think the story doesn't have as big of an impact on a personal level. And I think a lot of that has to do, like Hector, you were saying, especially regarding Vanessa. You fridged the character that really gave Deadpool the motivation in the first film. And as dysfunctional and as weird and as like sexual and vulgar as their relationship was, it was really sweet. And they truly love each other. There's no question about it. Like rewatching that first film, you watch them play scenes off each other. They're having so much fun. And you really feel that love come through. Like the way that they were able to fabricate that to really make it come through and make it feel real in the movie, it works so incredibly well. And they have fun together. So I think that is a huge component of the movie that is missing for me. And I wish that there would have been a different way to get Wade motivated to do the things that he does in the film. Whether it was maybe shifting the story or using Cable, using Cable's backstory as a motivator for him. I think that would have been really nice. I think on top of that, the scope, you know, the movie is trying to do so many big things because, like I mentioned when we watched Deadpool, it's now competing with movies that have surpassed the expectations of so many fans. Avengers Endgame, Batman versus Superman, whatever you thought about the movie, Doctor Strange, you know, there's like all these things coming out in 2018, you know, that they have to compete with. Black Panther, they obviously don't know at the time the quality of those movies, but as those movies are coming out, we're very aware of the conversation around those films, and a lot came out in those 2 years between Deadpool and Deadpool 2. So I think that they also felt that they really needed to up the ante, and they really needed to make everything feel really big. And I think the simplicity of Deadpool 1 is the charm of that movie, and just the simple story is the thing that worked so incredibly well for me. They added all these elements. And I think, yes, they did double their budget, which is great, but I think they also doubled their budget, but they used so much of it to add in things that I don't know if it was necessary. I had a very different feeling about X-Force on the rewatch, but the first time I watched it, I thought, you put all these characters into this movie, and then you off them within 3-4 minutes of them being in the film. I get that that's the joke, but at the same time, it feels like it kind of pulls away and takes away from the anticipation of seeing that character. And I think part of it was also because Drew Goddard had been working on X-Force or trying to develop it for years. So it was the anticipation of, oh, we're finally getting X-Force, and it's in a Deadpool movie, and then they go, oh, no, we can't afford that, or it's not in the budget, or we don't have the rights to those characters, or whatever the case may be.
Or just straight up, wouldn't it be funny to kill them? That's it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just humor for humor's sake. So I think that's the big thing, is like all the story elements and all the little pieces and the nuance that really worked well in Deadpool 1 is kind of lost in Deadpool 2, because we're now taking that money, big sets, big action. We're putting not just X-Men, but X-Force, and on top of that, we're adding Cable to the roster and Domino to the roster. I feel like because of that, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Colossus, they get kind of lost in the background quite a bit. They have big moments in the beginning, and they have big moments towards the end, kind of, especially Colossus. But, I feel like we're sacrificing a little bit to add things that I don't know if they, for me personally, make the movie better. I think they do maybe a little bit of a disservice. And like Cable, for example, it would have been great. And I think this is also it maybe could have been like a rights issue or a use issue, because X-Men movies were still happening. They couldn't tap into that incredible lore for Cable, which I feel like, God, if only they could have, if only, we had the building blocks of all these things, then the emotional impact of Cable's story, it hits. Josh Brolin sells it, but imagine it really hitting because he's James Marsden's or Ty Sheridan's son, or you're swept up in all that drama. Exactly.
You're totally right, dude. Again, I don't think I even felt this strongly about it in 2018, because I was like, well, dude, the Fox X-Men movies are a mess. I don't care. But now, after we watched X-Men 97, and just the scene where Jean psychically, telepathically projects her and Scott to Cable, it's so emotional and beautiful, and I was like, fuck, dude, this is missing from Deadpool 2. Some piece of that.
Absolutely.
But again, it's not Deadpool 2's fault, just because what X-Men stuff did they have to work with? It wasn't in shambles per se, but they basically built it back up themselves. There's nothing there to work off of. There's nothing. It would have been wild if they're just like, here's Femke Jensen, she's Madeline Pryor, just a completely new, different mythology.
Out of left field, introduce this crazy, long, complicated mythology.
Right. Well, let's go into, we're kind of wrapping up, and we can talk about our expectations for the new film. Because I have one that is related to my point about Deadpool 2 that doesn't work, which is Vanessa. My expectation is, this may be a spoiler, this may not be a spoiler. He and Vanessa are not together, apparently, at the beginning of this film. I don't know for how long, I don't know what the situation is, but I think that's very smart to set them up there. If by the end you can get an emotional reunion, and if part of the story in this film is supposed to be about Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, coming to terms with his failure, whatever version of Wolverine this is. And maybe, meta commentary, that failure includes Logan, because now we've seen Daphne Keane is in this movie. That's a spoiler, but they put that out in a trailer. which is crazy that like I just rewatched Logan and I feel like I was kind of just rewatching it for fun, but now I'm like, oh shit, I'm so glad I did. That's homework. That hit me and made me cry again. And now I'm gonna see those scenes or whatever that reference is and feel it. And if the core of this movie is Wolverine going through a journey and becoming his Wolverine self, I hope it's not just Deadpool in the background cheering him on the whole, but like I want Wade to go through something. And I hope by the end of this movie, my expectation is that you can go back to that feeling of that first Deadpool movie. That would be my expectation. Let me read this comment real quick. Lena Robbins music coming in hot.
We got two
$10.
super
Oh,
chats.
great.
Yeah.
We got $10 super chat from Lena Robbins music. Hi, Lena. Thank you. Saying, hey guys, got here late to the stream. I'm so hyped to see Deadpool and Wolverine, sing it with my friends, but I'm even more excited to see what y'all think about it. Hope we can get an out of the theater reaction. And Adam said at the beginning, we will.
Yeah. We'll get a fresh scoop for you guys.
Rodolfo Fuerte coming in with his first ever super chat, $10. Thank you so much, Rodolfo. Love you guys so much. First time, long time. Thanks for all the years of laughs, insights, and Nacho Libre quotes. What it is set, and it's no trick or treat. Appreciate y'all.
It's not trick or treat.
Awesome.
Perfect.
No trick or treat.
Rodolfo.
That was my, and I want to answer Adam's question at the beginning of the episode, which is which Marvel character do you want to see in this? And I think if I could find a way, I think I really love Ian McKellen Magneto. And I don't want Ian McKellen Magneto to be in Secret Wars, whereas I kind of want them to bring back Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman for Secret Wars. Like, that's the movie where you have Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, meet Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man. Like, that's the one.
Yeah.
But Magneto, Ian McKellen, I don't know. But I'd love to see him in this and in the costume, a version of the costume, and maybe with Patrick Stewart one last time in the sort of look that he had in Doctor Strange, very comic booky green suit in the yellow hover chair. I think that would make me very, very happy. Out of all of the X-Men stuff or all the Marvel previous movies, that one would be great. Adam, let's talk about your expectations for the movie this weekend, and then what's your one Marvel character?
So my expectations, I think it has a lot to do with how I feel about Deadpool 2. While I know that because it takes place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it is just by nature going to be a more complex story, and they're dealing with more complex things. We've seen hints of the potential things that could be happening in throughout this movie, but I still hope, kind of like what you're saying, I want that simplicity, or at least that feeling that I got from Deadpool 1, where I felt incredibly invested in the characters. And because both characters share the title card, I'm expecting Deadpool and Wolverine to pretty much have more or less the same amount of screen time, to give them time to go through whatever arc they go through. And yes, an emotional impact wherever Wade starts, him getting kind of mixed up in all of this stuff, and then where he is at the end. I really do hope that it's a satisfactory arc, however they integrate him fully into the MCU. But I kind of also hope the same thing for Wolverine. Whether or not this will be the last time we see him, who knows? I don't want to speculate too much about Secret Wars, but if it is the last time, truly the last time, then I also hope that it gives us a proper send-off for him, but not what Logan did. And I can almost guarantee that they're very aware of that. Like, we can't repeat that. We can't do something very similar. We got to do something different that very much fits our story. So that's really what I'm hoping for. And I really do hope that the characters from Wade's world, not Wayne's World, but Wade's World, Lindell, Vanessa, all of those characters, I hope that they don't get put too far off to the side.
Sidelined.
And I unfortunately feel like that may be the case, but I hope that at least in the beginning, we spend enough time with them to really understand where they're at with their stories. So maybe by the time we return to them, maybe in the middle or the end, that they'll also maybe feel like, maybe not a full arc, because I just don't think that the movie is built for that, but at least in a different place than where we started out with them. So my expectations are somewhat like dumbing down the movie to make it more simplistic, when in reality it's probably going to be even bigger than the first two movies combined. But as long as they really sell me on the story and I really feel emotionally invested, I'll be okay with that. If I walk out of the movie and I feel like the movie is nothing more but them popping into, let's say, other universes, and it's just cameos for the sake of cameos, and I don't feel emotionally connected to the characters, then I think I'll be really disappointed. So far, it doesn't seem like that's the case based on the few things that I've read and seen. So fingers crossed that's more or less the outcome for the movie.
Mm-hmm. What's a character you want to see?
Agreed.
Ooh.
Yeah, character
that I would love to see that I think would be really fun would either be Michael Chiklis as the Thing, or Colin Farrell as Bullseye.
Interesting.
That'd be great.
Okay,
it would be fun.
Okay.
I think I'm leaning more towards Michael Chiklis as the Thing, though. I think that would be a really fun one. Just like a quick flash of the character. But yeah, I think that'll be my top one.
Rumor is Jennifer Garner is Elektra in this film, so it's like it's that
anything,
would make a lot of
can
sense.
happen.
A lot of things
anything can happen. Yeah. Anything.
Augustine, you're the number one Wolverine fan I know.
Absolutely.
What are you feeling right now before going into this weekend, dude?
Listen, so I am such a Wolverine fan that it took me a long time to accept Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine, and it honestly took Logan. It took Logan for me to be absolutely convinced that Hugh Jackman is the Wolverine, and that's because at that point I knew that he was as bought into the character as I am. The other movies kind of made him seem like he was too cool for school, or just, like, I wish they had put a lot more effort into the other characters as well as Wolverine, because he shines when he's on the team. Like, he can be vulnerable, he can be kind of an asshole, he can be everything when he's bounced off other people. That being said, I don't want to keep my expectations super duper high. What I do want to see the most out of this movie is enough of a buddy connection between Deadpool and Wolverine that when potentially they have to say goodbye to each other, I feel bad that they have to separate. Or I feel bad that I may not potentially see them together again in another movie. Right. And so that's kind of what I want. I don't necessarily need Wolverine to have another sad ending or another passing away or anything like that. I just, I want to be so invested in Wolverine and Deadpool's friendship that I'm going to be sad if they never meet up again, and if they don't do any other Deadpool and Wolverine movies, which they most likely won't. But that's really, I feel like from the moment this was announced, from everything that they put out advertising wise, like when they first announced the movie, when they were both sitting on a couch, like hanging out, and the whole internet freaked out from the moment he took off his mask and he had a Hugh Jackman like face under his mask, right?
Yeah.
So like, there's so many things that allude to that. If Deadpool from the Fox universe ever met Wolverine, they would become instantly friends. Like, they would just be so in love and like friendship, love with each other, that it would have to be kind of like the best union you've seen, right? And like I said, I don't want to go in with like 1,000% expectation on this, but that's really kind of, I feel like for me, needs to work 100% in this movie. Like, it just needs to work. That buddy friendship just needs to happen.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know.
I think what you're describing too, dude, is like, I know we're gonna have a blasty blast watching this for the first time in the theater.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna be insane, and it's gonna be. But I want this movie to be really good on rewatches, and the way that's gonna happen is a year, 2-3 years from now, you pop this in or you hit play on Disney Plus again, and it's like, I love this because of their friendship and this relationship, what the characters go through, and so we're never going to be able to recapture the first time you watch it in a theater, in a packed theater, like that audience opening weekend. It's incredible. But Deadpool 1 and 2, I think, especially the first one, still work because of what we're talking about. Like, they have good character work in those movies. They have enough to make it worthwhile to rewatch them. Before you answer
100%.
your character you want to see, real quick, Augustine, Movies Clockford coming with a $5 super chat says, my family and I got tickets to see Deadpool and Wolverine this Thursday night. Plus my boss said I can leave early to see it. Devil emoji. That's what's up.
Work that system.
Tell your boss he's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. She, boss could be a lady.
Or
and
she.
So we gotta
tell your boss they're cool.
Tell them they're cool. Ronan Unchained, $2 super chat. ¿Qué pasa, muchachos? We're gonna get wasted at Comic-Con. All right, calm down. All right. Take it easy.
Hey, you're the one talking puking off the bridge.
I know. I know.
I just have to
puke
say,
off the Coronado Bridge.
Our audience is pulling some incredible callbacks. Some that I've seen that I love. Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider would be incredible. Hasselhoff as Nick Fury. Vincent D'Onofrio as Thor from Adventures in Babysitting. Oh my God.
Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
That would be incredible. Yeah. Vinny D'Onoff, come on, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But you know what, Hector? Not that I don't even want to say it's impossible, because the fact that he plays Kingpin now to be a variant, you're like, oh, it's the Kingpin.
I know.
It's Vinny D'Onofrio as Thor?
It's the mechanic. It's the mechanic from Adventures in Babysitting, and we're going to reveal once and for all he actually was Thor.
Yeah.
He falls down the lightning.
Incredible. I think Adventures in Babysitting is now under the Disney umbrella too.
I got to read this comment real quick too from Langley M. Neely. Langley, great to see you, man. Always so thankful of your support. Langley said, I actually think if you got Coleman Domingo to replace Jonathan Majors, people would say, Majors who? I loved Major's talent, but Domingo is a cut above in my book, and he is terrifying in Zola. He's a fantastic actor, beautiful actor. I think he would also be an amazing Kang the Conqueror. I think a lot of actors could do it, and I frankly would be really happy to know that Marvel Studios is not just going to retire the character, but they're going to be like, look, we're going to bring in another powerhouse, charismatic and great male black actor to continue this role. Maybe it won't have as big of a role, going forward. That's fine, but I think that would be great. Alex says the actor from the 1990 Captain America film.
Hell yeah, Matt
There's so
Salinger
many.
is Captain America.
Augustine, which character would you want to see, man? Which one? What's your character?
I have two. The first one is super meta, and it won't work. And everybody's asked for this, but Chris Evans is Johnny the Human Torch. But the other meta part is. The other meta part is in a whipped cream bikini. So I don't think that's gonna work.
That would be, first of all, incredible and amazing.
I think that would be so funny. But no, we're not gonna get him in a whipped cream bikini.
Maybe not, but that, not another teen movie. That would be brilliant. But I do want to remind everybody that the director of this film is Sean Levy, who directed Free Guy, which also had a Chris Evans cameo. So when he lifted his little Captain America shield to cut to Chris Evans on his phone, what did he say? He said what the shit or something. He said something like that.
It
happened.
That's my pie in the sky one. But my real one is I hope we see Madison at some point in this movie.
Oh my
hanging
God.
out, watching TV.
Wow.
Calling out for Wongers. Something.
Walkers,
give her something.
What are these guys doing here?
She made such an impact, dude.
I'll tell you what. If you wanted to, I would love to see Wong. I'd love to see Madison in this. But especially this, but it's making me think about She-Hulk, my fave. And I'm like, if you're gonna save She-Hulk, you have to give me a She-Hulk Deadpool interaction in an Avengers film, because they're both going to break the fourth fucking wall at the same time or at each other. That's what I want. And I want Wade to have to acknowledge, she did it first. I want an Avengers audience to see that scene and have to put some respect on her name. That would be so good. God, Wongers, what a great Madison, what a great pull, dude.
I knew.
That's
I
it.
haven't heard anybody talk about Madison since She-Hulk, so I'm like, where is she? I need to know where she is. I need to see what she's been up to. Let's see what's going on.
God, we're not gonna be able to top that, Adam. We have to cut it off, Lucas, because that was great. That was great.
Man. Yeah, I think that's the one thing that will be really fun with this movie. And again, it's all depends on the context. As long as it doesn't overtake the important parts of the movie, like the story, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a lot of fun to go into the theater on Sunday to see that film. It is going to be a really big challenge for us too. I know that I get that Comic-Con is happening at the same time, but it is inevitable that you are going to walk past someone who will either be there for the Thursday Thursday night screening, which they didn't confirm it's a screening.
Yep.
Give me a break. They're gonna screen the movie. Come on, it's opening night.
Yep.
And all the people who are gonna go out of their way after Comic-Con to go see the film as well. Like the theaters in San Diego are probably gonna be packed with people from Comic-Con for the entire weekend. So because people will want to go see it. So navigating the convention center and trying to avoid spoilers, especially sitting in Hall H all day on Saturday, is going to be so hard.
That's going to be
Hector,
crazy.
we're going to have to bring headphones, not talk to each other, not talk to anybody, ignore the world. It's the only way we're going to be able to do it.
Music, headphones. I'm bringing a book. Like, don't talk to me. I agree. It's going to be real tough.
On? Okay. Oh, it's over?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Star Trek panel? Okay, great. Okay.
Bitsy Tillich?
Penguin? You got
It's what? No, headphones.
I got to read this comment from Alex Leedy. If Madison makes a cameo, this film will make $1 billion. I agree.
Yes, of course.
I agree.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
Oh man.
It's gonna be a fun weekend. Really looking forward to all the stuff that's gonna be going on. You know, we'll be posting stuff all across our social media on Instagram and Twitter especially. You know, trailer reactions, we'll kind of address those as they come out and see, you know, like when we're available to do those and all that sort of stuff. But it'll be a lot of fun. But make sure you guys come back. Next Wednesday, we will be talking about spoilers. Deadpool
all
Wolverine.
Spoiler
It'll be a lot of fun.
Don't
we'll go
come
through
next
every
week
single
if you haven't seen the movie.
Absolutely. Don't bother even. We'll go through all the cameos. We'll talk about all the fun stuff. We'll also do an out of the theater reaction for the movie on Sunday, so that'll be a really good time. And stay tuned. We might be announcing some other things. You might get a little sneaky peeky about what else we're doing. You never know what'll show up.
You never know.
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for chatting. It's been really, really fun to talk to you guys about these Deadpool movies and every single movie. Stay tuned. We're going to be doing more of these movie discussions for films that we're watching. I think some of the ones coming up include things like Alien and Aliens in anticipation of Alien Romulus. If you know and you know what's coming out throughout the rest of the year, we're more than likely going to be talking about some of the movies that lead up to those shows and films, honestly. So be on the lookout. Check out all the stuff that we're watching. Check out our Patreon. And we will see you after Comic-Con next Wednesday.
Bye.
Okay.
Tight.
Got it.
I have to go.